How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a totally random stream. You know, the kind of stream that I like to do. This is when I work on stuff that is music related, that is wing related, that is show related, and I just come to hang out with you guys. I'm doing this live on the stream, so if you are in a time zone that cannot watch the usual live stream, you can watch this one. You can join in and we can answer your question at a time that suits you better. Sorry, a little surprise here. I hit the button a minute before. I was not totally ready, but you know, I'm never ready to do these live stream. It's nothing new here. Sorry, I'm fine. I'm telling you I'm fine. Nothing to worry about here. Hey. Okay. What's going on? Today, okay, first, you know what's gonna happen here? I'm gonna ask you to please, if you like that video, like it. If you are not yet subscribed to the channel and you want to talk with me in the chat that I have on my screen right there that you can barely see, I have the chat there, so if you subscribe to the channel, you will be allowed to talk in the chat. And if you want to support me in what I do, I don't think about that a lot. But if you want to support me and want to become a member of the channel or a super member, members are just there to support me a little bit. I really appreciate every single of my member, and super member is a way for you to have time with me. I do offer some one-on-one lessons, so if you want to discuss something, if you need help to fix a precise problem with your wing, and you say, you know what, I want to have somebody, a professional that can listen to me, that can explain me stuff, I'm there for you. So two-way to approach me for a private lesson. If you can just do a one-time shot over, you send me an email, you send me a PayPal payment of 25 USD for an hour of session at the time that suits you. If you want to support me for the long run, every super member of the channel get 1 hour per month of free help. So if you think about maybe, you know, do a 1 hour session, wait a little bit, do another session, it's cheaper for you to just become a super member. Also, you have access to other stuff, and you have that little beautiful icon of my face that you can use in the chat. That is said, today, what are we doing? We're building I think there will be 3 shows. We're going to build 3 shows on the wing. I'm going to use my DL251 and my X32 core. Right now, as you can see, when I switch to this screen, I have my X32 plug into port A. It's an X32 core, and port C is port C of my DL32. If you know your way around the DL32, you know it's a copy of port A when you run at 48K. So I basically just did my a split snake. It's basically a split snake. Shared gain, but split snake. Maybe the setup will change a little bit. Who knows? Depending on what I build for the shows. If it's working the way I want it to work, I'm just gonna leave everything the way it is. If it's not, well, I'm gonna go upstairs, plug thing, cable. You know the drill. Okay. Now, I was supposed to check that before we go on, but like I said, hit the wrong button. Instead of switching the camera to see what's going on, I went live. We're gonna fix some problem live together. Now, I'm on my streaming platform. I'm on my streaming show file. I have my, my talkback mic here, my music in my headphone that I'm hearing here, the same that you guys are hearing. There we go. And that is all fine. We're going to go into the library. We're going to save that before we do anything. Wing live stream, I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to go save again. Confirm. Okay. Now, there's some stuff that I want to take out of recall safe. I'm going to go here. Is there anything that I want to... This can go. What else? This can go. My 2-track return can go. And my Oxys basically can go. I'm just gonna take these out of recall safe, because when I'm gonna recall the show that I want to work on, I want my stream to be kept on, but I don't want my other stuff, to say. Okay, aux 1 is good. I'm just gonna double check with you guys what's going on here. Main 2. I want to keep main 1 and main 2. Or actually, no, I want them to change. I don't want to keep main 2. I want main 1 only to remain the way it is. So main 2 is going to go away. Main 1 is the one that I use for streaming. I'm gonna probably disable all that before I save the show file, because I don't want, my limiter and bus compressor to be on my main out. Usually I try to mix my live show without any of those. So we'll see. We'll see if I remember to save these, or just gotta take them off at the gig. Okay, let's go again. Let's take a look. Library, only the channel that I want to keep. That's good. I'm just gonna save, confirm. Okay, good. Now that we got that down, the first thing that I want to work on is the show that I got. It's actually the first show that I got coming this week. I have four shows, 3 shows where I'm gonna take the wing. 4 show upcoming, or maybe more than that. I got 4 show with the wing in the next week and a half. So I'm gonna need to build a show totally from scratch, and there is 2, or actually there's 2 or 3 shows that I totally need to build from scratch because I don't have them in the wing. And there you go. So for those of you who want to complain about the fact that there is no offline editor, this is why I have to start my wing. And actually, it's a good thing, because to me, it's just another occasion to do a live stream with you guys. Okay, enough of me just rambling here. Let's load that Simon Wing show. You guys probably remember my friend Simon. He's a really good singer that I've been working for the last 13 years, more than that. Actually, do I know him for 13 years? I know him for 13 years. I've been working on full-time with him for the last 10. Anyhow, just so you guys keep up, I have my iPad here. This is on my this is showing my X32 core. This is what I have going on there. My drums. Let me bring this one. My drums. I have my bass is not going to be used. I'll explain to you guys what's going on with that show, but it's basically bass, a stereo guitar 2, keyboard. After that, I have some drum pads, some vocal microphone, and a lot of playback. I'll explain you what's going on in there as soon as we build those channel onto our wing. But basically, what I have on the wing is a show with the full band, full 5 musician. Now there is a cut down version of that show where it's drum, guitar, and backing track. So it's 2 musician, everything else, the bass, the keyboard, the whatever is coming up from the backing track. And we're gonna do a bit of a hybrid show next week for the National Day here in Quebec on June 24. So I need to build like a setup where I have all my 25 input of band and all my 13 track return from a computer, because it's not going to be used all together at the same time. It will be during the show, in between song. One song will be a keyboard that will do the bass and the full band, no backing track. The next song after is pretty much just drum, guitar, and the backing track. So we're gonna alternate between those versions of the show in the same show. So to be ready, I need to have everything just on, ready to be mixed. Let's do that now. Let's take a look at what we have from the previous version with 5 musicians, and we're gonna add the 13 tracks in. So if I do my thing right, sound will probably cut here, because I don't think I have my streaming stuff routed to the computer. Stick around, I'll be back in a second if sound is cutting out. We're gonna press load here, just go. Actually, I don't want to lose my camera either. So I'm just wanna, is it the custom config, custom control? I just turned them off here from loading when I'm gonna reload that show. So there we go. I'm gonna click here, load, and maybe the stream will explode. No, Stick around, guys. Can you guys still hear me? You guys can hear me with reverb. Okay. What's going on here? Is it this? Is it this? There you go. Sounds a bit different, I think. Is it just me? Is it just me or it sound a bit different? Let's see what's going on in the main out. Is there anything that changed? I don't have the limiter on. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at our effect rack. Do I have a limiter on? No, I can put a limiter here. There you go. Just gonna give it some gain a little bit. That should be enough. And that's about right. Right? Let's do it this way. So, okay. Now that I have both my setup for streaming and that I have my band recalled here, we're going to take a look at what we have going on with the band. Just something that I need to notice is I need to match what's going on with my X32, M32. Actually, it's the M32 app, but it's an X32 with my DL251 up there. First thing that I want to fix is the clock. Can you see here that I have, clock problem? It's not syncing correctly. I don't know why. It should be all coming from AS50 source A, and it should be working. It's definitely working because I'm pretty sure you guys can hear me, so we will see. There's a console clock at 41. Could that be? What's going on there? You guys can still hear the music. I can see some VU meter going out on the stream. I'm just gonna double check something. If you guys give me a sec, I just want to make sure that we're still live on YouTube. Just to make sure that the stream there is working. I just lost the music in my here, but if you guys, if you guys have some stuff still going up there, we will just move on. Yeah, you can hear me fine. Good. Let's just move on, and we're gonna work on that band file. So, again, I need to match what's going on with my X32 up there, because the way that the routing is done on this system is I have my DL251 feeding my X32. I'm using the X32 as a sound interface to grab my laptop output, so my laptop that is outputting over USB in the X32, and I just, in the routing section of the X32, just throw everything back from port B in the back to my wing. Gain control is done on the X32, and the X32 is used as a monitor. Something that I need to work out also is how do I get my main out to be output to have an output into 15 and 16, but I can worry about that another time, as long as I can get my show ready here, and we'll be good to go. Okay, so we need to double check first. The first thing we need to double check is input. If I look at my iPad here, what I got going here is my kick. Sorry, musician texting me live on the stream. Just gonna put that into concentration mode. There you go. Okay. So if we check one next to another, I don't know if you guys can see this. Maybe I can turn down the light a little bit on the iPad. Not good. Okay, I'm just gonna read out. You will have to believe me. The first input that we have on the pad is kick. Now we have a snare top and a snare bottom. So we're gonna need to change this hat here for a snare bottom. We're gonna call this bottom. And can we change the icon? I don't know if we can. Oh, okay. Actually, you know what? I'm doing the mistake that I've done before. In the wing, source matters. Meaning that I should not change my channel count first. I should look at my input. So basically, I'm doing things in the wrong order here. We should first go into the routing menu, go in the source, and in AES50A, this is where we should double check my input, because I can link the name from AES50A to the channel. I'll show you guys how I do this. Okay, first thing that we're gonna check is the kick. So kick is good. We have option for color. I like my drums to be green, so kick is good. Snare, it's all good. Hi-hat. Hi-hat, I want to change my icon. Do I have an icon? I don't have any icon on the AES port, so I'm just gonna call this snare SNB. So usually for snare bottom. After that, what do we have? We have a tom. Oh, you know what? Let's do some icon. Let's go all the way out. Okay, so drums, snare top, snare bottom icon. There's also a snare 2 icon, I guess, if ever needed. First rack tom, so it's gonna be high. We have 2 floors, so it's gonna be low and floor. The overhead, so crash left and right. Do they change together? It has to be the same icon. Okay, well, it's just gonna be 2 crash. After that, we have a ride. So okay, crash and ride, got it. So no overhead. Input 10 here is gonna be a bass when I will have a bass. Right now it says nothing for some reason. I don't know why. But we're gonna change that. I like my bass to be in the color of blue. I like my bass icon to look something like this, and I'm gonna rename that input bass DI. There you go. Why is it not on? Do I have something assigned to this? Probably not. Oh, it's because it's not used. The channel is there, but it's not assigned, so this is why it's in grayed out. Okay, move on. After that, we have, yes, a guitar from my friend Simon. Can you guys see this? If yeah, it's probably focusing a little bit. So we basically have bass, 2 guitar, and a keyboard. Let's do that. Let's double check that. So guitar, do I have an option for? You know what? I have a request. I want to have white. Please send me some white icon. Some white color LED, and I got some white icon. We need some white color LED. Okay, what icon do I use? Simon's got a weird guitar, so I'm just gonna go with this one. And for my friend Vince, who is more a rock and roll guy, I'm gonna go with Flying V, just for fun. After that, we have a keyboard. I like my keyboard to be in purple. I'm gonna go here, keyboard. So that's my keyboard input. They're not linked together. Now they are. 15 and 16 linked together. Keys. It says keys. It's in purple. Good. We're gonna assign that later on. After that, what we got going? Pad. That's good. This is a talkback. Talkback stage. This input is only used for musicians to talk to each other on a single mic on stage. We have a mic standing up next to the drummer. We pretty much try to hide it in the drum kit, and musician can go up to the drummer, press a button, the mic open up. They can say, everybody has this microphone in their ear. They can say whatever they want. Usually it's not the most corporate thing that they say in that microphone, and it just goes out in their ear. Nobody hears it, and that's for the better. And they, most of the time, they use it for giving out cues. Like, I just break a guitar string. We need to change the set list to have a song that start with no guitar while I'm changing guitar, or I'm changing string, or I go up there on that stage changing a guitar string while they, do other things. So this is a talkback mic. After that, what do we have on my patch? Input 20 is bass vocal. So vocal bass. After that, we have my friend. Sorry. I'm losing it on icon here. I'm just going to put a smiley face here. Vocal bass. What should we put? This is usually on stage left. So we're going to go with this. Stage right, sorry. Yeah. I was about to explain it, because I'm working a lot in French. It's the other way around. It's jardin and cour, so we say from stage right to stage left, or we're already weird. Just another reason to tell you guys that we are weird. We're doing stage left, stage right, backward. So stage right is gonna be my bass vocal in blue, the same blue that we have for our bass. After that, it's my friend Simon, lead vocal. I wish I could put it in white. In the X32 is in white. I'm gonna put the rock and roll icon here for him to be easily seen on the console. After that, we have guitar player that is usually in red. This is gonna be on stage left. After that, we have, if I'm following the list here, we have a vocal keyboard. And what else? Drums. Vocal drums should be in green because all my drums are in green. And to not mistake them with something else, I'm just going to put the drum icon here. After that, I've already built that show pretty much. For real, we have all the effects. Oh, actually, I'm missing the saxophone. So these icons are not good. I have to reassign them to be something else. Okay, how am I gonna do this? Well, let's just face the truth and just reassign everything. That's gonna be a pain, but let's do it. Okay. So line 25 on my X32 is can you see it, guys? Can you see it if I'm showing it to you here? It's a saxophone line. We're just gonna change that for actually it's the keyboard player. So usually I put my brass in yellow because brass most of the time look yellow, but we're gonna go here purple for a sax. I'm gonna change the name for a Mr. Saxo. And 26 is empty. And I need to copy my patch that I have on the console again. So 26 and 27s are empty. So this is going to be named nothing. This is going to become the default color, and I don't want any icon. This is going to be sax. So do we have a sax? We have a sax icon. Great. This is nothing. This is also nothing. It's going to be a mono source. This is a mono source with nothing. Default blue, no icon. And this is where the fun starts. I have to rename all these effects. Let's go at it. So in input 28, because of the routing of the X32, for some reason I have my click track there. So I'm not going to use it on the wing, but I need to know what's coming up from the X32. So because the X32 is just mirroring his input from AS50A and the card in out to port B that is connected here in my port A. You can see my X32 core down here. This is going to be my click track. So what are we using for an icon for a click track? Usually I'm using that blue for stuff that I don't want to go to the PA. And I want to change the icon from maybe a cowbell, because is the click track, do we have a cowbell? We have a cowbell. Let's use the triangle just for fun. Why not? We have it. After that, we start with effects, so we're just going to rename everything. It's basically the stuff coming from the console. Let's do our stuff. So it's sequence. Sequence is basically a lot of stuff. Sequence. That's going to be it. Sequence, and we're going to change that for a computer icon. Where is that computer icon? It's right there. After that, after sequence, we have a perk. So it's going to be the computer icon here too. We're just going to change the name here for perk. I like to have my percussion in yellow. So it's line 31 and 32. After that, on the X32, it's in my aux, and this is where I trick the console a little bit using the user signal in the X32 to allow me to have my card in 1 through 6 there, but I'm going to use the 8 aux return. I'll show you guys. Is it? Am I right? Did I just mess something up? Oh, it's yeah. I messed my name here. It's back vocal. We have some gang back vocal. It's back vocal. There we go. Back vocal from the computer. Percussion stuff from the computer. You know, those weird bass drop and everything that is mostly done with drum electronic stuff and some other percussion that the band just don't play live. After that, it's not BV for back vocal. It's going to be sequence. So it's everything that is not in other line. There we go. Sequence could stay that color. After that, it's not really perk. What is it? Oh, I just lost my console for some reason. Did my Wi-Fi change? Yes. This is something that annoys me sometimes. You know, the Wi-Fi changed because I'm closer to my home Ethernet router versus the console one. So from time to time it just changed, you know, or maybe the console one just dropped for a second and the iPad switched to the other one. So okay. After that, this is keyboard stuff that is not played usually by a player. So it's going to be key. And that's keys. After that, we have bass backtrack as a stereo track. So I'm gonna change that icon to be a computer again, and it's gonna be called bass. Bass. And the last one is some extra guitar, some extra acoustic guitar that are not used. So sorry for that. Didn't realize I was showing you my top of my head doing some edit. So again, I changed sequence, keyboard, bass, and we're gonna go red here and call that guitar. And we're gonna change that also for a computer icon. So now that I have my source all written down, all set up to be stereo, or actually, you know what? I forget this one. My guitar here is gonna be stereo. Everything that is enlightened, everything that is not dark on the screen here is in use. What that tell me is some of the input there are there, but they are not in use. So we're gonna have to change our physical channel stuff here. We got our patch right. Now it's time to go again to our channel. And this is where we're going to set up what we assign to what channel. let's start with the first one. First one is kick. We said that it's fine. Or actually, I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna come here on the home view. We're gonna go into the name, and we're gonna link customization to source. What that means is whatever we set up in the source is gonna appear on the console as the channel name, so it will follow automatically. I'm just gonna assign that for all of them, and that way, if we change something, if we change the source, this will all end up. Have you seen the right change there? Okay, it didn't show, but hold on, let me do this again. Here, I want this. It changes to back vocal. This is not true. I want this to be my bass. All the other ones were right, by the way. So I'm just gonna change here 9. I want to go here in overview. I said no, I want this to be my bass DI. So this is if I have a real bass player on stage, I want him to come to the front of house in that channel. We can probably change this. Actually, hold on. Let me do this right. There you go. We're gonna do this right. We're gonna assign link customization to source to all the channel. Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. And then we're just gonna reassign everything and make sure that our preset makes sense, This, and this. I think I can do this show under 24 channel on the wing. Even if it's 40 something input on the X32, there's a lot of stereo stuff in there. Okay, moving on, we're gonna double check our input. Starting from 9, we have our bass. Bass is ear. This is good. After that, we have Simon's guitar. That's good. We have my friend Vince's guitar, and that's gonna be in source. This is where it gets complex on the wing. On the display here, it's telling me channel 9, but input 10, because I have a pair of stereo overhead. If you look at this here, I have a pair of stereo overhead. So these are stereo, this is mono, this is mono, these are stereo. But it's telling me in channel 10, or actually it's funnier, channel 11, which is this one right here, it's telling me that my source are 13 and 14. So this is the part where it could be confusing. Just want you guys to follow along. Now, keep moving. Probably can get rid of that. I don't know why I did that. Probably the PA that day was a little too bright. I'm just gonna get rid of it. Because also I need to double check that my stuff that is on the console right now makes sense. Because it's not because I changed the source that the processing around the channel will change. So I'm just gonna need to double check that. So that bass guitar, we can start it flat and maybe a low cut around 87 as a starting point. We have a Ethereal Bliss compressor that I really like on bass, and I can probably turn the gain down just a little bit here. Okay, I'm gonna double check the processing of everything, just make sure it makes sense. So on the bass drum, 160 and a gate, that makes sense. On the snare, 160 and a de-esser, yes. I'm using the de-esser here to get rid of the hi-hat bleed, if you want to do that too. Oh, and it's an expander gate. No, it should be a de-esser. I want this to be a de-esser. There we go. 3 dB or less of a hi-hat in your snare. Snare bottom, not much going on here. I probably want to compress that, so again 160, and I want my gate to be triggered by the snare top, so that way when my bass drum is gonna hit on when my bass drum is gonna hit next to the mic that is the snare bottom, I don't want my snare mic to open. I want my key source. This is the way that this is what the gate used to detect the signal. I want my key source to be on channel 2. That way I can just do this, turn my gate on, and if every time my bass drum is gonna hit, my threshold is not going to be activated, and only my snare top is going to be activated. I can put the attack really fast, because it's not dependent on the source. The source thing made it so I can use a really fast attack, and will make sense. Moving on. First tom, what do we have? A nice little scoop here, EQ, drummer. Okay, I probably done a show with it and it was fine. Overheads. Why am I using compression? Oh yeah. Okay, another trick that I've learned after a couple of years. When you have the option to have side chaining, you can come your snare down into the overheads. You're using the snare, which is channel 2 for me, as the input of the compressor, so that way every time the drummers go really loud on the snare, it's not going to come up in the overhead. It will compress the overhead just a little bit, so it's going to bring the snare down, and it will basically help you to maintain a regular volume or a more even volume on stage. It won't do a miracle, but it's going to help. Okay, right, what do we have? Pretty much nothing, just a little bit of EQ. Seems right to me. Bass guitar, again, probably I won't have a bass player actually on that show on the 21st. So that channel won't be used, but I want it to be, bass player ready. That trim here can be set to 0, that way I won't have any bad surprise of cranking up the gain and not having any volume. Actually, you can do a quick look around for, stuff like the snare bottom. Maybe I had some trim going. Here we go. And okay, that I'm probably gonna leave as is. My guitar here, a little bit of EQ around. Why is it doing this? Oh no. I'm scared, guys. Did I just discover that I have a bad screen? Live on stream? We'll see. Okay, let's move on. Let's try to work. And if there's some funky stuff happening, we will turn the console down and do a screen check. Knock on wood. So far, I was lucky. Maybe it's something else. Maybe I have something, with my iPad. Oh, there you go. Maybe it's my iPad doing stuff here. There you go. That was it. Okay. Phew. I was scary for a bit. I don't want my console to turn bad. Please, I don't want my console to turn bad. No, I'm good. I'm good, Jeff. I'm good. It's all good. It's my, okay, let me show you. I had my iPad here, and it was touching the equalizer section, so it changed. Let me show you again. I can change it with the touch of these button here. Not the top one, but the bottom one of the EQ. My iPad was doing some contact with them, and they made it freaked out. We're good. Yeah. Yes. Same feeling, Jeff. We're good. No worry. I didn't say anything. Knock on wood, my console has been really reliable. I know some people had some issue with it, but I'm good. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Simon's guitar is good. My friend Vince's guitar, we only have a compressor and I'm gonna make sure that I have two things going on. Compression and guitar. Hear me out. Can I do this here? No, okay. It's in the gate section that we have the dynamic EQ. There we go. This is something that I wanted to integrate into that show for a long time. I want my lead vocal to trim down a couple dB of mid-range on my electric guitar only when the singer is doing his thing, when he's singing. So what I want to do is I want to turn on the compression or the dynamic EQ, because I don't really want to have a compression. I want to have a dynamic EQ. I want my source for that dynamic EQ to be my singer, which is my friend Simon. I want the threshold to be fairly low. I'm going to adjust that when the band is playing. And I want that to be gained down by 3 dB. Or actually, it should compress down by 3 dB. So for now, at 1K, this is the basic setup. I want my compressor or my dynamic EQ to compress around the 1K range every time that my singer is singing. I want my guitar to have less of these frequencies. Let me give you an example with my talkback mic, which is channel 40. Hey. This is my talkback mic. I'm just gonna take a look at what's going on here. Oh, I have pretty much no gain. This is why it sounded a little bit different. There we go. Hey. Hey. Why am I not that loud? Okay, I'm gonna bring the mic closer so I can get a lot of level going on here. Okay, my friend Simon. Hey. Hey. Am I doing this right? Is my threshold too? Hey. Oh, you have the tap option. I want this to be pre-fader. Hey. Hey. What's going on here? Why is it not dropping down? Hey. Hey. There we go. Oh, it's there. Okay, I need to set the level that I want this to compress. Sorry, I didn't use a dynamic EQ that much. My threshold is way too low. Hey. Can you guys see when I'm talking right now? Really close to my microphone. Every time that I'm talking, I can maybe put the Q a little wider. Actually, the other way around. Hey. I want my vocal mic to bring down the mid-range of the guitar only when he's singing. That way here, what I'm doing right now, this is going to bring down hey. Oh, I can leave the threshold around 0. And I can make the release a little faster. Hey. -3. Hey. That way, when my singer is singing, my mid-range of my guitar is dropping out. I want to do the same thing on my other guitar. I don't want that on. I only want this. And I want this to be a dynamic EQ. And this time, actually, I'm going to do it for real. I want this to be pre-fader. I want my threshold to be way high, so that way I don't have any surprise. And I want my Q to be around 0.5. We're going to test it again with my talkback mic. We're going to set my gain to be around -3. Hey. Hey. Is it below? Oh, sorry, I got a question here about the RTA. Hold on, just give me a sec. I'm gonna come back at it. Okay. Hey. That theory is confirmed. I'm just gonna put that back to my vocal here. I want to put that also to my vocal, and we're gonna take a look at a dynamic EQ, or not the dynamic EQ. We're gonna take a look at a parametric EQ here on my vocal. We have the spectrum analyzer. This is what we're talking about. Show how the RTA and PEQ each channel. The RTA option can be found in the EQ section here on top in setting. This is what you have. for the. Actually, there's a couple cool thing in there. You have your option for your first and last band to be shelving or a full parametric, meaning that the low and the high could be a full parametric EQ, or they could be shelving EQ, like this one right here. This is a shelving EQ, and I can change it again to a parametric EQ, so that's going to give me a single band where I can have, the gain, the Q, and the frequency. But in my case here, I want just this to be a shelving EQ. It's just going to boost the everything. And my RTA settings are also in there. You have your RTA mode. You can set it on or off here in the bottom. And you have your kind of detection. It could be, peak, could be RMS or average. The decay is how I'm going to show you. The decay is how much when you stop sending signal that the bands are going down. It could be really fast if you want to. Really, really fast, or medium. I like it at medium. I like it peak and medium. And the range, 60 is sometimes too much. I like it to be 30. And I hope that answer your question, my friend. Hope you gonna use your wing and have some fun with that. This is the filter setup. I just hit that when I was playing around with the EQ. Also accessible that way, but it can be also, you just come here and you have access to your filter. But there you go. That's the option for your, low cut. If you want to, your tilt EQ. You can tilt your low end, whatever. If you enable the tilt EQ, you can set the tone of that channel. I'm not a huge fan of tilt EQ. I just like to, spot the frequencies that I want to turn down or up and adjust it there. But if you like to play around with tilt EQ, it's going to work. What else? Okay, let's move on to our channel 12, which is my input 15 and 16. Gonna come here. We're gonna grab our keyboard as a stereo source. That channel just became my keyboard, and this one is gonna be easy. Usually on keyboard, I try to have some kind of compression just to, if the guy on the keyboard go too loud or his tones are set at not a good level, I can compress him a little bit. But sometimes the compressor will not kick in the whole night. And it's fine. It's not there to compress the keyboard. It's just there to keep the volume from going too high if the keyboard players goes too high. So, not needed. Or almost not needed. It's there just as a safety feature. Just gonna make sure that my trim is gonna be set up here at 0. Also, something that I didn't point out, all the gain now are controlled by the X32 that is upstairs. Plug into my thing here, plug into the back of this console. I only have trim on my end of that AES50 line. So I'm gonna mix using the trim, but I'm gonna set my gain using my X32. That is, over this iPad. I'm gonna set my gain there from the monitor console, from the monitor world, and I'm just gonna do my thing at the front of house with my trim. And honestly, trim give you minus 18 to plus 18 dB of gain, which should be enough for you to get away with pretty much everything. Okay, after keyboard, what do we have? We have a drum pad, which is true. That's a good input. Drum pad with a huge bump here in the low. Probably want to start that flat. I don't know why it's there. Maybe some drummer compression if needed. Probably won't touch it. After that, what do we have on the X32? We have a talkback mic that we're not going to use. And we have a bass vocal. Phil, why is the gain on the monitor mixer? I seen this a lot and never understood why. Okay, I can take a little break here and give you my reason to do it. I don't say that I'm right. I'm just gonna say the reason why I'm doing it is I'm trying to gain. There's two approaches to mixing. Some people like to crank their gain up to minus 18 on average, and having the fader set at the level that they want. And if I'm gonna use unused fader here. If this is your mix with fader all over the place, that's your mix. This is the way you set your stuff. Some other people, like me, when I'm doing front of house, I like to have my fader as a straight line, nominal 0 dB, and I set my mix on with the gain. So the reason why I leave control to the monitor world for the gain is I don't want to impact the musician hearing what they hear, the volume of the stuff that they hear by changing them during the show. I set the monitor console to have the gain at minus 18 dB on average. I make sure that I'm always on average at minus 18, and if they go really loud, they never clip. If they clip, I turn it down just a little bit, Doing that, then I set my gain pretty much for everything. And at front of house, if I want to have more or less of something, I put my fader at 0. If I have too much going on, turn the trim down. If I need more, turn the trim up. This is how I set up my mix, depending on what I'm doing. Nowadays, most of the time, I end up just using the other approach. Actually, I grabbed that from a Pro 2, from mixing a lot on Pro 2s. I set my gain to be high, and on the Pro series, sometimes I clip on purpose my signal, and I turn the trim down so I have my fader at 0 dB. So it's the best of both worlds. I get that crunch, that a little bit of distortion from the preamp, from the source, and after that I just set the volume down. It's just a way of do things. It's not this is not the truth. This is just something that I like to do. Have some crunch on some input, my bass drum. It's gonna actually this is really funny. I was watching a video from a guy's called Resident Loser Studios. And he was talking about, doing an interview with the front of house guys from Styx. And in that interview, the front of house guys put word on something that I was doing, but never really did it on purpose or really realizing it. The cleaner that we have, our PA now, when we're mixing, we're kind of losing that perception of volume because we're used to hear distortion once we reach a certain level. We used to hear gear struggling a little bit, and that that little crunch of analog console, being pushed to the limit, like a tube guitar amp. It sound louder than it really is because it sound distorted. Or ear understand distortion as really loud volume. So on some stuff, on bass guitar, on vocals sometimes, and on bass drum, I like to run my preamp on the Pro 2 series a little bit in the red, just for that tiny bit of crunchiness. On the wing, we have something for the distortion that maybe I can show you. Actually, I'm gonna put it on the bass as a basic plugin, but basically that's the way. So gain on monitor for a consistency of gain, trim to set up your mix. And if you have a DL251 box, you can use that as a bit of a crunch box if you want to run your preamp really high. But sometimes it doesn't please everybody, when you're doing in-ear or monitor. So the other option is to run your gain the way you should run them, meaning at minus 18, and on the first in the first insert of your console, what you can do is you can put the soul warmth, and you can put the mix down and put the drive to 125% and blend in some distortion, because this is basically a crunch box. Can I show it on this? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of my source extractor here and I'm going to show the soul warmth. I'm going to turn my gain down. I'm going to turn the distortion to 125, and I'm going to start to add distortion. If you guys can hear, the volume's not really getting any louder, but the perception of volume, you think that I'm louder just because it's distorting. But the signal that I'm sending out to my streaming software is exactly the same level. It's compressed at many places on the way out from my microphone to my main bus into my OBS software. That is, that has a limiter. Here I have a compressor and a limiter. It's the same dBVU volume, but the perception of the distortion is going to make it so it sounds like I'm louder, but actually I'm not. I'm just less dynamic and having some, harmonics distortion. And playing around with harmonic distortion, I can make it sound even more distorted depending on the type of distortion that we have. So on bass guitar, this is something that I love to have. On some vocal, if you want to get, that vocal is, it's crazy. It's driving. You could do that. Also, you can play around with the settings. It doesn't have to be that crunchy, and having fun with that. So if you want, to have this, as soon as it go loud, it sounds like it's clipping, but actually it's not clipping. It's just a false impression due to distortion. So distortion is your friend if you are using it correctly, and this is pretty much, up to you at that point. Hola Brazil, I'm gonna guess. Everton. Hola Brazil. Hello from Canada. I'm based in Montreal, Canada. Okay, moving on. I hope you learned something with this. I'm just gonna put my source extractor back on, and that way you guys have less background noise when I'm speaking. There you go. Moving on. Where we were at my drum pad, just a little bit of compression. After that, I have drum vocal, which would make sense. This is, I'm just gonna come here and take my source. Okay. Actually, let me take a look. I don't think this is right. No, it's not. Okay. If we look at my iPad here, I have my drum pad in green. I have my talkback mic, because I don't think I'm in focus. I have my talkback mic, and then I have 5 vocal. I need to reproduce this on the wing now. So what we're going to do is, I think I'm just going to copy paste this, because this used to be my drum vocal. And yeah, let's do this. I'm just going to copy paste that 5 times where it's needed. So it's going to be here, drum. I'm going to copy the channel setting, tools, my bad. I want this to be here. I want 5 of those. So I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these 2 needs to be copied there, copied. So I should have the same thing for my drum vocal. My other channel should all be the same. This is my friend Vince. Okay, we're gonna reassign the input and it would all make sense. I have de-esser, EQs, taking a bit of low end, and on the drum usually I try to cut around 4K for all the frequencies that are around the drummer that are disturbing. But this is gonna be for real my bass vocal. So if we look here, it's gonna be my input 20. I'm just gonna assign everything quickly. This is really this is gonna be this, and this is gonna be this. So my vocal for drum is gonna be in 24. I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. And do we have an icon here? What's going on with this one? It doesn't have an icon, so maybe I forget an icon here. We're gonna go to routing and fix that quickly. I forget an icon. What do we want? Do we want a keyboard? Let's do a keyboard. There you go. Looks better on my screen. Looks better here because we have a little keyboard icon. Okay. Ooh. Why did I have a limiter here? It should not be a limiter there. Let's go again. Let's go back. One input at a time. So, channel 14, input A20 is my bass vocal. After that, I have my lead vocal. Here, this is gonna be... Don't tell anyone, this is gonna be autotune. Or is it? No, autotune is already on there, so this is not gonna be used at all. What else? There you go. Okay, so... bass, this is gonna be my lead singer. De-esser, of course, because my friend Simon has some S's around 7K. I turned that down by 3 dB. There you go, 7K, 3 dB range. After that, I have my friend Vince. He's not doing a lot of S's in his voice, so I rather have a cleaner vocal for him. I just put a gate, or actually I should use a source extractor for him. That's gonna give me pretty much the same result, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the preset behind the source extractor that is just good sounding. I like it. We're gonna use it. So this is good for input 22. After that, 23 is gonna be keyboard. I think I'm gonna go here with the source extractor because he's not singing a lot. So we're gonna turn that down around minus 18. Is gonna be set depending on the on how the player is reacting. Hi Tom, welcome to the show. If it's your first time, hello from North Carolina. Hi, hello from Montreal. I hope that the weather is fine in North Carolina. It's been a couple months since I was there. I used to travel this winter. I went to Florida and I passed through North Carolina on the 95. Weather was fine back then. I hope you have a good time now. I hope you don't have too much of a weird weather. You watched the replay? Great. Now you're with us live, so if you have any question, feel free to ask, my friend. What else? Where are we? Okay, vocal keyboard. We can check my drum vocal. Actually, on this one, I want to avoid to have some kind of source extractor or gate, because every single drum hit of, the drum being next to the microphone, pretty much at the same distance that is right there, every single drum hit will open up that gate and it will start to pump and sound not really good. So we're going to try to avoid that as much as possible. After that, what do we have? I think we're ready to go. Oh no, I'm forgetting about the saxophone. In channel 19 is going to be our saxophone, input 25 from my DL251, and we need to build a sax track. So definitely a source extractor here, because the saxophone is played by the keyboard player, so he's going to have his sax standing next to him. He's not going to play all the time. I definitely want to cut down on the stage noise that way. So I don't think I'm going to go fast. I'm thinking I'm going to go slow here, and threshold, I'm going to put it down, but it will be depending on how loud he is on stage and how loud is the background noise. And I want a depth of 20 dB. When he's not playing, I want that input to be pretty much mute by itself. After that, EQ wise, well, I'm just going to stick with the wing EQ. I love it. Let's go here in the low cut and probably the high cut too. I want to set my low cut somewhere around 200. I know it sounds like it's really high of a low cut, but what I do most of the time with brass player, I ask them what is the lowest note that they could play on the instrument. What is the register of the instrument? And I set my low cut and high cut to be around those points. That way, I cut down a lot on the bleed, a lot on the unused frequencies of that instrument, and sometimes it doesn't sound that good. Sometimes it just make it through and sounds really good, even with that on, and it's just gonna filter out, the cymbals of the drum getting into the brass and the low end rumble of the sub or the bass being, sent into the brass. So it's just narrowed down to the range of the instrument, and it's just, make my life easier at front of house. What else? Can close this. EQ wise, well, it's going to depend on the player. I think my friend Dominic was going to play that gig. Is going to have his bid on 98. So usually something around this. It is going to be depending on the brass, on how we played that day, on the weather, because if we're going to play outside, so depending on the humidity level, it's going to change the sound of the overall stuff, especially every acoustic instrument like the drum, like the brass, the acoustic guitar. Those are affected by the weather more than electric guitar and electric bass. And vocal also, this is something that is really affected by the weather and the humidity level in the air, not because of the voice itself and the frequencies not traveling at the same speed because of the change in temperature, but the way the microphone the way the microphone reproduce frequencies depending on if the capsule is wet, dry, hot, or cold. I should do a video about that, or I should send the ID to Dave Rat. He's really good at doing this, but the microphone will change the sound of a microphone will change depending on its environment. Okay, we can take a break here. We can take a look at the question from Tom. When you have, how do you lay out your drum bus workflow versus vocal bus workflow? Do they all go to the main out or matrices? You got to be disappointed. I'm not using bus that much. The way I came up mixing my band back in the analog day, because I start in the analog day. I mixed my first show in 2005, which is not that far ago, but digital console were still, some of the high-end console only. We're talking about M7CL that were starting to make their way onto the market. It's not like today where everybody and every place is just digital. All that to say that we didn't have a lot of bus and a lot of groups, so I learned to mix my show through the main out only. My approach is to have every single channel strip to be as good as they could. Compression wise, it should be the way that you want your drums to be sound, and I just mix myself away. Sometimes I use bus for vocal. Actually, I think I can build one for this show. Let me just check if I have anything going on my bus. Here, we can take a look at this together. I have my reverb, my effect here in my first bus. After that, I have pretty much nothing. Oh, actually, there's a double reverb and effect here, but as you can see, it's not been used. Or is it? No, they're not used. I only have my insert on, but they have pretty much nothing on them. And I just want to make sure that I don't double up on anything. This is probably not good, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. Okay. It's all off. Let me see. The fun thing about doing monitor on a separate console is I have all my buses free to do whatever I want with them. On this case here, I think it's a good thing. I wanted to have a vocal bus on this show, so we're just going to do it now. What we're going to do is to set our vocal to be sent into a bus. We're going to actually change my bus 5 to be a subgroup. It's that easy. You just go on selecting a bus and you change it to a subgroup. We're going to come here on my bass vocal. We're going to take them out of the main, all my vocal out of the main, and my sax is going to remain in the main. My panning is good. My pans are good for this. And we got to come here into my bus send, my bus menu, and we're going to assign on every single vocal into this. The reason I'm doing this is because I want my vocal to be compressed together when everybody's singing together. I want it to get a little bit louder, but I don't want it to, becoming twice as loud as the lead vocal. So what we're going to do is assign that bus to the main out. We're going to take that bus and just turn it up onto 0 dB. And we're going to use my favorite compressor for vocal. And here I named the 1176. I'm going to set the input to be around -18, output around -32. This is just a starting point. Do not take these numbers for granted. I just know that I like these numbers as a basic setup. This is basically my preset for 1176. And that's it. I'm going to try to set up my my vocal bus, and I'm gonna write it down. So it's gonna be VX bus. What I want to do with my vocal bus is I want I want all my vocal to go through it when they are singing on their own. I don't want the compressor to kick in at all. When people start to add up, doing back vocals together, I want the compressor to slowly kick in and just hold them back as if they were as loud as the lead vocal. I do run my drums with a DCA. Actually, on this show, I don't know if I've built DCA or not. We're gonna take a look at it, and yes, I do. I did build some DCA. I don't think they're good anymore, so I'm gonna need to double check. But yes, my drum, as you can see here, my 8 input. I think we're missing it 1 here. No, it's 9 microphone going into. It's 9 microphone going into 8 channel because of the stereo pair for overheads. So actually, I can rebuild my DCA quickly. What do we have here on bass? We have channel 9. That's good. Also, I'm gonna have some backing track there that is also bass, so they will be added to that DCA once we set them up. My friend Simon's guitar is in channel 10. That's good. My friend Vince's guitar is in channel 11. Keyboard into channel 12. Yes, that's good. All my effects, my bus and my main are going into that DCA. I don't think the last one should be in that DCA, so I'm just gonna take them off. Because my real effect are only the 4 right there. I'm not gonna... Actually, hold on. I was about to say something stupid, but no. My vocal here, I'm gonna leave them in the DCA. You know why? Is it gonna work? Oh no, I'm not, yes, I'm using a subgroup. So, a subgroup is post fader. That way, if I keep my DCA, this one here, my all vocal, I'm gonna use my fader here as a threshold changer for my compressor. But I'm doing it the other way around. I let the threshold the way it is, but I'm gonna push on the vocal, or I'm gonna turn down the vocal that are sent into that bus, and that way I can compress or less or more my vocal going into the output. And if I ever need to have more volume of the vocal, I'm just gonna go out into my bus 5, gonna go here, and I'm gonna change the output for that compressor. But I'm gonna use my DCA as a rider for the compressor input of my bus. Elise Paravan, I'm gonna guess you're from Brazil, because this is, I believe, the Brazilian flag. Hello, Brazil. What else? Can we go on? With my other input? I think we're ready to go there and to move on with my other backing track stuff. So, okay. We're gonna move here to channel. What is after 25 on my X32 rack here that is over this iPad. We have channel 26 and 27 that are not used because Not because I don't have the physical input to do it, but I cannot route any physical input anymore into this because of my really complex and over-the-top routing that I have going on that X32. So the next one that we want to have here, the channel that I'm gonna need, I'm not gonna need the click track that is on channel 28. I want to have my back vocal sequence. Is that the way? No, actually, you know what? Let's just go that way. It doesn't really matter how things are are on the console once I've reached into the backing track. So we're gonna set that back vocal. We're gonna set that back vocal to be here in channel 20. Just gonna come here, and that's not gonna be keyboard. That's gonna be back vocal. After that, I can already assign perk, and I can go my sequence, my keyboard, my bass. And do I really need to go another layer just for my guitars? Oh, I think I do. Okay, we're gonna go up to channel 25. I'm definitely gonna forget about it because it's too far down the line. We're gonna unmute that channel. We're gonna make sure that I want to make sure that these channels are totally empty because they are backtrack. They are already processed. They are studio stamp that we're using in the band display over them. So everything is mixed, everything is compressed, everything is EQ'd. It sounds really, really good out of the gate. On the wing, how do you know which current snapshot I'm on? I'm gonna say you have, for now, until show control is out. You have to come here and just, see the snapshot that you're on. Actually, another good reason, now that we did our patch, it's a good time, I believe, to save. So I know I'm on this page. I want to save this one. I want to save as my friend Simon show wing. I'm going to save here. I want to override that snapshot because I did some modification and I want to just move on with them. And I'm going to confirm. There we go. I need to write down or just come here and says, here, guitar coming from a computer. This is all. Actually, I can just turn that on every channel. I don't know if there's a quicker way to do it. I'm just going to assign it for every channel. That way, if I ever patch something into, if I just patch something in here, let's say I want my click track. If I just patch or input 26, it's going to appear. Or do I need to put something? Oh, no. If I put something here, it's just going to open up my channel. It's going to tell me that is my click track. Anyhow, just want to keep that away. And double check. Did I made a mistake anywhere? Yes, I did a mistake here in my backing track, sequence track. I did a source mistake. Here, this should be a stereo input. And there you go. So I'm gonna need to resave my show here. I click save, summon, save, snap, confirm. There we go. Okay. Let's do a quick tour again. We got our kick, we got our snare bottom. Maybe that low cut is a little too high. First floor overheads. Yeah, maybe that was a rough show. 200-ish is around where I usually cut down my overhead. At the frequency of the snare. The snare will have usually a peak frequency. On this case here, I'm going to use, or I've used in the past, 180. So you know what? I'm just going to cut my overhead to 180 as a starting point. I will listen. We will be, on that show, we'll be outside on a stage line. Stage. Usually they don't sound that great. So maybe I'm going to cut down on everything on the drum, just maybe to thin them out a little bit, but to have less room of that really bad environment that is a mobile stage. After that, we have our ride. I can probably cut that down a little more because it's really close to the kick, and you don't want, that big bell sound to sound really big. So that should do the trick. Bass DI, not going to be used tomorrow. Guitars, just flat. This is coming out of a Helix, so usually right out of the gate, it sounds just fine. Dynamic EQ on that, just to, helps smooth out the mid-range when the vocals are on. As soon as the vocal are out, we're good to go. Same thing for this one. Keyboard, I usually let them live, maybe a bit of compression if needed, but usually flat is just fine. Pad, same thing, compression just a little bit, but usually right out of the bat is just fine. Bass vocal, not going to be used tomorrow, but it's ready for as soon as I have somebody stepping in on the bass on that gig. I'm going to make sure that that trim is set back to 0. My friend Simon, here I have some de-esser, EQs, no stressor, one of my favorite plugin in the wing, some pitch correction needed for effect at one spot in the show, and it's going to be off by default. I don't want that to be on. What else? What else do we have? Vocal from my friend Vince on the guitar. Maybe not that much of a high boost there. That can all be changing during the sound check, so we'll see. But usually I like to start with not too much of a high boost on stuff. Vocal for keyboard, my friend Dominic there. Source extractor trim is going to be set back to 0. Drum vocal, the trim is also affected. We did some, I sacrificed a little bit of higher frequencies in the vocal just so it's less roomy around the drum. And the saxophone, we'll see. I need to hear it because no two saxophones sound the same, and depending on the microphone, it's never the same. Okay, back vocal, let's go to ohm. This is right. I know those tracks are loud, so I'm gonna start having them at minus 12 dB on the trim, because they come out normalized at 0 dB out of the computer. Usually it's too loud to start. And we're gonna have this. And we're gonna have this one. And I'm gonna totally forget about that guitar that is here. And if I just double check quickly, we have a gate here that should not be there. What else? This is flat, this is flat, this is flat. And I'm just gonna raise these faders. Okay. If you guys have any question in the chat, feel free to ask them. This is, you guys give me time to take a break and do some thinking. So feel free to start me up on something if you have any question. If you don't, well, we're gonna start to build some DCA. So we're gonna go here, DCA, and press on the view. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. In my drums DCA, it's great because everything is labeled, so I can just quickly assign stuff. I don't have my drum pad, I believe. I want my drum pad to be in my DCA. And this is pretty much all I want into that DCA. On my bass DCA, what do I want to have in there? I want my real bass guitar. If I don't, I want my bass coming out of the computer, coming here, so that way when I'm driving that DCA for bass, whatever is playing the computer or somebody is gonna be righted by this DCA. Guitar, my friend Simon's guitar, I want that to be in its own DCA. My friend Vince's guitar, I want that to be in its own DCA. Keyboard, I want my real keyboard and my keyboard coming from the computer to be righted by the same DCA. I'm gonna move my iPad away, sorry. All my effects. This is my bus send. I'm using the DCA to mute and to write the send level of those bus into the effect, not the return. Usually I let my effects return to be the way they are, and I just don't touch them. All my vocals are there. Yes, I want them to be I want this to be my DCA for my compressor threshold. And after that, I have pad. I don't want a single DCA for pad. I think what I want to do is, actually I'm going to set up some other stuff in there. let's go take a look back again at my keyboard. I want also my saxophone there. I want my effects, just to be the effects. All my vocal should also be my back vocal coming from the computer. And I think I should... Where should I put my perk and my sequence track and my other guitar? I think I'm gonna change the name of that DCA to be others and just be this, and this. And I should cover everything. Let me double check again that I have all my channel. We're gonna go back into the main page of these DCA. 7, 10, yes. I'm just looking at the DCA and see if I'm not missing anything. 23, 24. What is in 24? It's my bass track. They're there. There are my buses. Well, I got everything. So this one is going to be renamed for others. OTH. OTHR. Nope, it didn't change. Others. Rename. Yes. Global tag. I'm trying to wrap my head around the tag thing. It's usually really hard for me to just, know how it works. This is a new concept for me that I'm not used to. So the tag thing is give me a run a little bit from time to time. Okay, I think we're good for this one. This is a really good starting point. I just repatch everything, and now I'm basically going to start with this show, and I'm going to change it so my other bands will make sense, because I'm going to use the same DL251. When available this week, I'm going to do a monitor split for other bands, so I'm going to need to change the snapshot up there on my X32 rack that is on the second floor. I'm in the basement right now. It's already a chore to bring this console up a flight of stairs by my own. I try to leave my other gear on the first floor. What else? Okay, I'm just gonna save that. Simon Wing, save, confirm. This is good. What else? What else do I have? Can I... You know what, guys? I think I will call it a day. This has been kind of long live stream. I think we've been going for an hour and a half. And no offense to you. I think I'm just going to be faster if I just quickly run through everything and not caring about, the camera and everything and explaining what I'm doing. So I think I'm going to just call it a day for now. It's going to be an interesting one for those of you who maybe want to learn how to build a show. This is what I do. This is just some basic preset that I'm doing. I'm thinking about maybe one day release a preset pack for the Wing. Let me know in the description down below if you guys want to have a preset pack of all my favorite channels already built. Thank you, Tom, for being here. Welcome. I know it's your first time. Welcome in the chat. I hope to see you again really soon. If you're free on Mondays, feel free to join us for the usual live stream. Otherwise, if you have any question, leave them again in the description down below. I'm gonna take a quick break here. Workflows and preset. Ask away, my friend. I know I'm really busy. I'm really busy this summer. You guys have no idea. We're missing people. A lot of people changed their career path during the last 2 years, and we're missing a lot of people. I'm really, really, really busy. A lot of people quit the industry, and I'm, I'm getting way more job than I used to. And even if I charge even double, sometimes people are still calling me and still giving me dates. So I have something crazy like 40 or 50 show until September. And I'm start to book September and October as we go. And the Christmas party are already coming in. So I'm busy, but I want to keep doing video on the console. I'm not posting that much recently. I know it's been like a month since I've released my last video. Really sorry about that. Okay, enough of me rambling. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something today. I hope I answered some of your questions for those of you in the chat. Stick around, ring that bell if you want to get notification when I go on these random live stream. Otherwise, give this video a like Tom said. And please, until the next one, that won't be next Monday. It will be in July, I think July 4th or 5th, or the first Monday of July. Until that Monday comes, guys, I want to say, please take care of yourself, and I will see you all really soon. Have a good evening, guys.